So we are going to go over now to my next speaker today. And I want to just get my notes up so that I can tell you all about her. She will, I'm sure, be able to tell you herself, but I want to do it myself. So here we go. Give her a proper introduction. So we're going to hear from Petrina 10, and I'm going to put her contact details as she speaks in the chat, but so that you know a little bit about her. So I'm going to just say that I've known Petrina over quite a few years, and she brings a unique take to the path of health and wellness and being a woman. She has a background in both psychology and nutrition. And the title of her talk today is How to Improve Your Confidence with Nutrition. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what she's going to share with us. And I think without further ado, Petrina, if you don't mind, I think I'm going to hand over to you there to introduce yourself, if you would be so kind. Let's see. So you need to unmute.
Hello, Lorraine.
Hello, lovely to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate it.
Same here. Thank you so much for inviting me. And hello, ladies. Been lovely listening to Nika and Cassandra as well. And I did email my details over to you, so you can check on your welcome email. You'll actually see it there.
Yeah, I've got it.
Whilst we're looking for that, let me just share my screen and let me tell you a bit about myself as well. Okay, could you give me a wave if you can hear and see my slides? Okay.
Yes, we can. Got it. Lovely.
Okay, so welcome, ladies. I'm really excited and really grateful to be sharing on this slot, my first time on Lorraine's platform. Something that the last speaker, Cassandra, actually said really resonated with me, because when you meet my husband's more outspoken than I am. I'm more of a private person. And since lockdown, I've been invited to speak at various ladies events, and that obviously forced me to actually speak up a bit more. So I can totally resonate with Cassandra as well. So what I wanted to ask is, if you can raise your hands, if you smell something that's really smells really good, like fresh bread, for example, that you can see on the screen, would you eat it? I would, definitely, right? Or, you know, freshly baked pizza, lovely cheese, and absolutely. And then raise your hands again if you smell the food, the lovely food, and then it tastes really nice. Would you eat it? I would, right? Okay, definitely.
Lots of hands going up here.
Yes, good to see. So what I wanted to ask ladies is, the foods that we consume, are we only consuming it because it smells good, it tastes good? Have we ever actually even questioned what the food is doing for our bodies? How is it nourishing us, or how is it making us feel? Does that lovely cheesecake, wow, so creamy and nice, delicious, sweet, just gives you that 5 minutes of wow, feel great, and perhaps the rest of the time it may not be so great. You might have maybe digestive upsets, diarrhea, things like that. I've certainly been there. Okay, so we're all human, and this is what I wanted to share with you today, the topic of how important nutrition can be in helping to help us be more confident. So just a disclaimer, I've not met most of you personally in person, so every one of us is different. We are different human beings. So do take the tips that I share on this presentation. However, if you do have any specific health concerns, then do either approach me, speak to me, or consult your health physician for more advice. Okay, so who is this talk for? Open-minded people, obviously like you ladies who are seeking to try new things. What I'll be sharing may not have, you have not been brought up in your culture, maybe to, do these sort of things. However, just keep an open mind because, even myself, as much as I know, I'm constantly learning. If you ask me what I do, I'm actually a constant, an ongoing lifelong student, and we all should be as well. So what I will be sharing is basically natural solutions, good supplements that you can be taking. So keep an open mind as to the mindset as well. Obviously, if you are someone who is a bit close-minded, then, do try to change your attitude because what you learn may be something new, may take a bit of effort to try to implement. And these are not like quick fix solutions. You have to do a bit of effort, okay, to actually get to the lifestyle that you want to. And whilst we're not totally against chemical medication, there are a lot of side effects and not very good consequences as results to taking these medications ongoing. So it's always good to actually find to the natural solutions itself. And whilst most of us here are mature women, however much you may class it from maybe late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever it is, I always believe it's never too late to change. Okay, so always keep an open mind as well. So here's a bit about myself. As I mentioned, I am married to Ronald, and that's a photo of us here in our organic garden. You are certainly welcome to, book an appointment with me, come over, just have a chat, visit our organic garden. We're based in East London near Barkingside. The garden is really the work of my husband because I'm not much of a gardener. I'm more of someone who actually reaps the, reaps the rewards of the plants that he grows as well. So we've got an organic garden where he's grown a lot of organic fruit trees, herbs, vegetables. And like I said, when the weather is a bit better, warmer in springtime, right now, if you do visit us, the garden's not a lot, not really great. But in the springtime, summertime, we've got fruits. We've had the blessings of having fresh organic apricots. When you taste that, wow, you will never buy another apricot from the shops because it tastes totally different. We've got plums. We grow olive trees as well. Many people thought that in England, where we are, it's cold, you can't grow olive trees, but my husband's proven them wrong. So we are known as Europe's most trusted energy boosting solutions. And between us, we have had over 5 decades of helping others to achieve the wellness results and confidence that they're looking for. Now, why confidence? Is because when you feel great, when you feel healthy, and when you are healthy, then obviously you are confident. You're confident of going out, of meeting people. Now imagine if you even had like a cold, you're sniffing, you're coughing, then that really brings your mood down and you lack that confidence to actually even meet people. Now we use a unique tool called iridology. That's our company logo there. It says discovering outstanding wellness through iridology. Iridology, just a brief explanation, is the study of the markings of the iris, which is the colored part of the eye. You can see in the background as well, I've got like charts of eyes and stuff in the background. So it's the study of the iris basically. However, we also study the whites of the eyes, which is called the sclera. And from there, we can actually tell what is wrong in the body even before the symptoms arise. So here's the link. You can take a screenshot of our calendar page. You can book in for a free chat with us, discuss your health concerns, be it physical health, maybe mental health, and we will guide you in just sharing a few tips that you can take along the way, take contact. And then obviously, if you've got more serious health concerns or you want more better advice, then you're welcome to actually book a consultation with us in person. And also, because Lorraine didn't actually have my write-up, I published a book called Whole Truth or Half Truth, and it's on Amazon. Just look out for my name or type in this title, Whole Truth or Half Truth, or search for Petrina 10. You'll find this book here. It's was my passion fun book, which I wrote during lockdown and published during lockdown. And so, who do we work with? We typically work with women who are business owners. However, we also do help women who are just managing their homes, for example, normally between the ages of 50 or 60, who are struggling mainly with self-confidence, health issues that's causing them stress, and then they want to improve whatever they're doing, improve their time management, productivity, and most of all, feel fantastic daily. So if that sounds like you, please listen on. I'm going to share at least 3 tips of how you can actually manage that. So keep an open mind, like I said, because our minds is like parachute. It doesn't work unless it is open. Now imagine, have you ever wanted to be more comfortable in your own skin and not to wear any or so much makeup? By the way, just to share the photos that you've seen of myself in the slides, I've actually not worn any makeup and it's not been photoshopped or anything like that. So I'm just showing you what is actually possible if you're actually very confident in or comfortable in your own skin. Would you like to be more comfortable in allowing yourself to be seen when you wake up, especially if you have a partner, you share a home with somebody? Are you someone who has to put on the makeup before you can be seen, or are you going to be comfortable in just waking up naturally as you are? How would you like to spend less time getting ready, especially when we are all in so much of a hurry these days, to be time poor, and also maybe spend less time removing makeup before you sleep, removing those, the wigs, the false eyelashes, the false, I can see Nika laughing, the false nails, for example, having to paint your nails, all these things that most of us women do. And even not to carry so much makeup or, use so much makeup. I certainly can resonate that, before I leave the house, definitely I need to bring my phone, but how many other people definitely need to bring their makeup? Yeah, they might forget anything else, but they'll definitely need their phone and the makeup, right? Okay, so I'm just going to show you a few tips, and obviously if you've answered yes for any of these questions, then this session is definitely for you. So if you look at these slides of these photos of these 2 women, you can see that they've got lovely skin. And that lady on the right who is posing, she looks really confident. Now, the benefits of being comfortable in your own natural skin, some of them to name them, would be you would be, more confident itself, more attractive, basically. More confident, and what is more important is you will be more employable. Now, be it whether you're an employee or you're looking for a job in terms of contract, you might be self-employed, chances are people will employ you more or give you the task if you're more confident and comfortable with yourself. And obviously, when you feel great, then you will also be more confident, and obviously when presentable. So many of us have probably been in relationships before or are in current relationships which are a bit older than 1 day. Now, if you just go back to the time when you were first started to date that person you met, most of us would have put a lot more effort in looking great, getting ready, smelling great, right? So what is important is whichever stage of the relationship you're in, it's always important to remember those first initial days where we were so excited, so happy to be looking great. Even like, for example, festive seasons, Easter's coming up, we just had Christmas, we had just had New Year. If we were invited to a party, we obviously want to look our best, not go in, shabby clothes and, or not smelling great, or even maybe having a bad haircut, bad hair day. So these are the little things that you can implement in your daily lives. And if you've obviously fallen off the wagon and maybe not even taking care of yourself lately, then now is a great time to get back. Okay. So there are internal factors that affect how we feel and how we look as well. And it's basically what we eat and drink, as I mentioned when I started. Do you just always eat everything that smells great and tastes good, and not even bother to think how it's going to affect your health and your confidence? And also there are other external factors such as the air we breathe, the sunlight, the pollution that's going on, cosmetics. A lot of cosmetics and deodorants, unfortunately, they have a lot of chemicals and they're actually not great for us, which is why we are encouraging you to actually use a lot less or even avoid using them in total. And as the last two speakers did mention a bit as well, what you pay attention to actually affects us as well. For example, are you someone who reads the newspapers daily, has the TV on with the news playing on in the background throughout the whole day and listen to all the negativity? Or are you someone actually also keeps an open mind as to what is positive in the world? For example, we take it for granted that we've woken up. The alarm clock was actually woken up us this morning. However, that is not really automatic caused by alarm clock. We should be grateful that we're all alive, and able to actually attend this Zoom today. Okay, so how you spend your time as well, doing things that you love, perhaps, like I mentioned, my husband enjoys gardening. It's one of his traits. So do something that you love as well, and not always be concentrating always on working alone. And last but not least, obviously, the food that you drink, the food and the drinks that you consume, the medication, supplements, they all play a part in your health. So bear this in mind as well. Okay, now when it comes to confidence and being confident in your own skin, remember our skin is our largest organ. And most of us, when we want to conceal something that is not attractive in our skin, for example, maybe a pimple on your face, eczema, skin problems, psoriasis, very serious skin problems. Most of the time when we go to specialists, what does that specialist do with all due respect? First of all, I remember when I was young, when I was, I think about in my teenage years, I had a bit of rashes in my over here where my hands is. And my mom took me to a skin specialist. And that was my first time. Believe me, all these years later, I still remember how I was treated by that skin specialist. He had looked at my fingers where the rashes was. He did not even touch my hand. He treated me as though I was like having a disease that was contagious. He looked at it from afar and basically said, well, you just need the steroid cream. Off you go. And because I was just a child at the time, I did not know better. My parents did not know better. We just rubbed that steroid cream whenever that rashes or eczema happened on my fingers. Then when I started learning about the importance of being clean inside, because our skin is our largest organ. And when our internal body is toxic, this is where our skin our body tries to expel all the toxicity through the skin. And that was really the reason why I had that rashes, which came, it wasn't all the time, was just off and on, maybe once every few months or so. So when I understood that, and this is what I want to share, is that when you go to certain specialists who are, skin specialists, for example, or your doctors, they will always try to get you the quick fix problem, quick solution rather, to your problem without addressing the root cause of it. So with me, with my skin problems, the root cause was because I was toxic internally, and the toxicity was coming out through my skin. Well, when I saw the skin specialist, he was actually trying to get rid of the problem or the symptom itself. And he did not ask me what I was eating, what I was drinking, what I was taking. To be fair, I was actually eating quite well because I was not brought up to eat a lot of junk food or, fast foods. However, still, whatever I was eating had toxicity inside. So as this is the photo of the skin, you can see the layers, the top layer itself. This is where all the problems arise, all the symptoms arise. However, you actually need to look deeper in as to where these problems are coming from, which is internally. So this is a very brief, basic description of our body. And the first thing I wanted to share is that when we keep our bodies hydrated, we will actually be a lot healthier. However, most of us have been taught to drink, say, 2-3 liters of water daily, or some of us even drink less. Some of us may be drinking coffee, tea, alcohol, okay, which is not really great. So when we drink water, for example, it goes through the mouth, then it goes to our stomach, then it goes through our kidneys, then it comes out through the bladder in terms of urine. And that's the urine chart. As you can see, the lighter the urine is towards the left side, that will be more healthier for you. And obviously, if your urine is really dark, unless you eat something like, for example, beetroot or something that's dark color, then your urine daily shouldn't be towards the dark end. Okay. So the first tip I wanted to share with you is to keep hydrated. And our way of keeping hydrated is not so much to drink like alcohol or wine or coffee or tea, but rather 80% of it should be alkaline or spring water. And you mix it 20% with unsweetened fruit juice, not from concentrate. For example, cloudy apple juice, mango juice, or even like coconut water. Now, I need to stress that when you buy fruit juice, you need to look out for the carton that says unsweetened fruit juice, not from concentrate. Basically, what that means is that if it's concentrated, they've actually taken out the water from the juice so that they can actually add water back to the juice once it's brought back to the country, because most of our juice are probably from overseas, and that's why. So it's best to actually get it not from concentrate, which is where the juice has not been, the liquid hasn't been removed from it and then water added back. It's actually the natural juice. And the best way is to actually get a bottle like this. It's called Nalgene. You can Google it and find it from places like Amazon. This is like a liter bottle. Lately, I actually bought one which looks like this. And the reason why I bought this one, I do have the other Nalgene bottles, but this one's because it's got this nice little markers on it. It says, from say 8 a.m. in the morning, it says get started. It's like a motivational type water bottle. Get started, you've got it. As you go down, keep chugging, never give up, almost there. And then, by 1 p.m., it's basically said that you've drunk like 1 liter. And then you repeat it again by the evening, you should have at least drunk at least 2 liters. However, if you're in a hot country, then obviously we recommend you drink more. Or if you're exercising, doing a lot of, work that makes you sweat more, then you actually need to drink more than 2 to 3 liters. The other reason why we actually also recommend this bottle is because when you see at the bottom, you probably can't see it on the screen, but when you do get the bottle, you actually see it. There's a triangle, and the triangle actually has a number 7 on it. So basically, number 7 is the bottle is really hard. You can drop it; it doesn't really crack. As opposed to if you get any of these, these mineral water bottles, you can see it's very cheap plastic, and the plastic actually goes into the water as well. So you're actually drinking, polluted water, although it may be mineral water. So I hope that makes sense. So if you're buying bottled water like this, I know it costs more, but I would rather go for the water that's in a glass bottle rather than these cheap plastic bottles. Because you can see, if you ever look at the plastic bottle at the bottom, it'll actually have a number 1 or slightly less number on it, as opposed to number 7 in these Nalgene type bottles. So when you drink it the way we show you, which is 80% water and alkaline water or mineral water and 20% unsweetened fruit juice, you'll find that you'll actually go to the toilet less. Why? Is because instead of just going through the mouth, stomach, and before it goes through the kidneys, it actually goes through our cells. So it cleans our cells, and that's why it stays, the liquid stays in our body longer before we actually have to visit the toilet. And then it goes to kidneys, bladder, and come out as urine. So I hope that makes sense. The second proven tip is to balance your meals. Now, most of us have been educated or, by the media, other places, to actually say, you need to eat, say, 5 portions, 8 portions of fruits and veg every day. Whilst that is right, we don't really find that's too accurate, because our method is basically, you need to balance your meals in terms of acidic and alkaline foods. The acidic foods, the easiest way to remember is everything that's not fruits and vegetables. Okay, so our formula is basically 20% acidic foods in terms of meats, fish, rice, pasta, breads, nuts, for example, and 80% alkaline, which is basically fruits, vegetables, and herbs. So if you look at this meal plate, for example, you can see this might be a piece of fish or meat, and then there's the pasta or noodles here and veg. Most people would think that is a balanced meal, but in the teachings that we share with our customers, that's not balanced, because it's not 80% as alkaline and 20% acidic, because these two, the meats and the pasta, would be acidic and the vegetables be alkaline. So if you were to have a portion of food like this, which may be made up of maybe nuts, meat, rice, pasta, then you really have to have 4 times the amount of fruits and vegetables, either with the meal or after the meal, just to balance it. And you'll find that when you practice this formula as much as you can on each meal, then your body will slowly detoxify itself, and you will actually become more healthy as well. Now, the question we want to ask as well is, sometimes when we eat food, you need to ask, who created this? Most of us would believe there is a creator, fruits, vegetables, they're grown, and these would be on the right-hand side of the slide. These, was natural. And then you look on the left where these are, very colorful sweets with white sugar. These are man-made, very highly processed. And this is something we need to avoid, okay? And even if especially you have got children, you're bringing up family, then you need to educate them to ask before they put anything in their mouth, who created it? Is it created naturally by nature, or has it been highly processed to death by men? Okay. Now, the third and last tip for today is getting adequate sleep. Now, many people, we're so busy with our lives now. We've got jobs, we are bringing up children, we have got careers, and sadly, even some of the mentors, the well-known business people in the world, they always say, sleep is overrated. You don't need a lot of it. However, we always say that, you need sleep. Why? Because our body repairs ourselves when we sleep, especially. So to get adequate sleep, you actually need to have a comfortable bed. Pillow, mattress, that's also important. I still remember when I bought my house, one of my main key top priorities wasn't getting a fancy kitchen, wasn't getting, all these equipment. My priority and the money I spent most was actually getting a comfortable bed and mattress. And obviously with time also pillows as well. Have your bedroom, your environment uncluttered with ideally no electronic devices. While it's nice to sometimes obviously watch TV in bed, when we do visit hotels, for example, when we travel, obviously it's really nice to have the TV in bed. However, in our personal bedroom itself, we actually don't have TVs, and we try not to use electronic devices in the bedroom as well, because the bedroom is just that space you need to rest. And obviously adequate darkness and silence. So get yourself some good blinds, some good curtains, and obviously, if you can, do live in a space where it's not on the main road, if you can, okay? Or get some space where it's a lot more quieter as well. We also have another natural product that we use, supplements, to actually help with deep sleep as well. It's called Magnical D. It's an abbreviation for magnesium, calcium, and vitamin D. Why? Is because these minerals, these vitamins, they actually work together in synergy. So if you're someone who is maybe short of magnesium, we wouldn't recommend you just take magnesium on its own, or calcium on its own, or vitamin D on its own. You take it in the combination of this supplement itself. And the reason why we personally use and recommend this brand is because it's the only supply that we know where you look at the bottle, it has potency guaranteed. Potency guaranteed basically means, like, when you bake a cake, maybe you put 10 raisins in a cake. By the time you mix it, if you slice each slice of the cake, does each slice have 1 raisin, or does it have 2 raisins? Well, potency guaranteed and supplements basically mean what you see, the ingredients that you see, every tablet has exactly the ingredients that's on the label. And that's the only company we know has it. Now, most people are not aware as well. This company, there is a book. You can also find it on Amazon. It's called The Comparative Guide to Nutritional Supplements. Okay. And in this book, the author, he did an independent review of all the supplements worldwide. And this is the only company that managed to reach the top rating independently of Platinum Plus. So again, you can take a screenshot of it. If you want to order it, here's the link. You can just order it from this link itself. You'll get the best prices. In the UK, you'll get the products within 2 working days, and at the lowest prices as well. And the courier is actually capped at only $3.99 per order. So if you order, we recommend you order a couple of bottles, because 1 bottle of the Magnical has 56 tablets. We personally take about 6 tablets a day, 2 during the day and 4 before bed. That's our main formula. However, yesterday I was actually speaking to one of my customers. Her son had some problems sleeping. Her son's only about 16. And I recommend that he takes 4. He wasn't getting results. So I said, just up it by 1 more to 5. And bingo, he got the results. He's actually now sleeping a lot better. He was having problems sleeping before as a child. So that comes to the end of my talk. I just wanted to remind you that, especially now that we're approaching Valentine's Day, being ladies, that you are really capable of amazing things, and you need to love who you are. And as the previous other speakers said, that, you need to be mindful about how the people you listen to, the language that you're using as well, because if you're constantly listening to someone who is maybe criticizing you and using harsh words, then it's not going to do you good. You might want to either switch off and not listen to the person. If obviously, sadly, if you're staying with the person, then it's a bit difficult. However, if you're in an environment where you're constantly being ridiculed or use negative words against you, then you need to actually get out of that environment. I've been fortunate. My name Petrina actually means rock. While I was growing up, I had also the same. Obviously, I didn't have much choice. I was brought up in schools where teachers called you names when you didn't get things right. But I was fortunate enough to be always that sort of person who would just be able to just ignore those things and just move on. And sometimes you actually need to do that as well. So these are some of my contact details, my social media handles. Lauren will probably share the rest on the chat as well. Feel free to get in touch with me. We're just a phone call or email away. and we'll be happy to have a chat with you. So thank you very much.
I have absolutely shared your contact details in the chat, Petrina, and I will be sending them out to everybody after the event today. And thank you for an amazing amount of information. That was outstanding and just, I mean, brilliant to hear, because you know what, I mean, a lot that you're saying, I'm sure we all kind of know, you know, in the back of our minds. And what happens is that I mean, I'm, you know, I forget it. It was very interesting what you were sharing about the makeup. If anybody's got questions that they would like to ask Petrina, put them in the chat, please, and we will ask her. The whole makeup thing I found very interesting, what you were sharing about wearing makeup, because, you know, I mean, I'm wearing some makeup today, and I do wear some makeup, but I as I'm getting to be of a more mature age, actually, I wear less and less makeup now. And having had a professional career as a singer, I did wear a lot of makeup when I was younger. And I just think you're putting all that stuff on our face. Oh my gosh, you know, our skin absorbs it all. So these days I tend to just wear it when I'm on camera or on, you know, for special occasions, really. And I've cut down a lot, but everything to do with the diet and everything was just amazing. So somebody is saying, you know, what was the key point about the makeup? Would you like to just say that as a question about what is the key point about the makeup?
Yes, this is something I thought about, and it just amazes me because I've been on TV as well, and I've been on radio stations, and you know, when you go on TV, they'll have like a makeup department, right? And they'll ask, would you like some makeup on you? And I will always say no. However, for those of you who have said yes, what it really amazes me is, have you actually taught, you know, when they if you brought your own makeup to the studio, that's fine, right? But most of the time you'll be offered makeup from the makeup studio. Have you actually even taught, you know, in terms of, we've been through this pandemic, and where everyone's more, you know, more open to hygiene and more mindful of hygiene. Have you actually even taught whether the person who's putting on the blusher, for example, using their kit, have they actually even washed the blusher? They may have used the brush itself. They may have used it on the person before that, left it in container, and when you come, they don't wash it, do they? I'm sure they don't, right? And here we are in, you know, after what's happened the last 2-3 years, we are constantly, you know, washing our hands, you know, not even want to shake anyone's hand, for example, not even hug. And we're just sharing the brush that's been used on a stranger. so that's one point in itself. And secondly, is because most of these makeups, especially lipstick as well, if you do the studies, the lipstick, especially the red, the ones really red in color, it actually contains lead, which is a chemical which is very harmful. So these are things that you need to be mindful as well.
Wow. Yeah, and you know what, I'm just thinking about, you know, I've got my little favorite you know, makeup brushes, and if anybody else can relate to this, and I've had these for years. I mean, they must be so full of, I'm going to chuck them all out, start all over again.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Any other questions for Petrina? Because you did cover really a lot of information, actually. I mean, really helpful. I mean, that thing about the diet, you know, like meat, the fish and the pasta, yes, absolutely, that's great food, but it's not the 80% alkaline vegetables, fresh vegetables and fruit that we need. And I noticed the difference when I mean, just over this last week, actually, I've noticed, you know, I just start to feel a little under the weather. I get little, you know, skin issues if I'm not eating the right amount of food that is, you know, alkaline, and fresh vegetables and fresh fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because even for ourselves, because we're human, so there are times where we're not totally unsociable. So if you do invite us to, you know, party on there, we're not going to say we just have to eat all fresh fruits, right? You know, we always say we are human, and there's no point living if you don't want to enjoy life, right? The food. However, we we do practice what we preach, I would say 90-95% of the time. And it's really does make a difference. For example, at the weekend when you actually messaged me to invite me to speak, I was actually in Barcelona on a trip, and obviously it was a paid trip by my company. So there was lots of food. They serve quite a lot of meat as well. I'm not really a huge meat eater, but I did eat some meat. I was also mindful because, you know, in those sort of scenarios when you're traveling, there's so much temptation out there. So you just have to be a bit mindful and selective what you choose.
Yeah, I think traveling is hard sometimes. I find when I'm traveling, that's the time that it's really tough actually to make sure that I eat really well.
Yeah.
And I can be very, very fussy, which drives, you know, the men in my life crazy, because I don't want to go into just any old restaurant. I really want to go to a good restaurant where the food is fresh. And that's so hard sometimes. I don't know if other ladies experience this when you're traveling. I don't know if you've got any tips actually, Petrina, about what to do when you travel.
Well, for us, when we travel, obviously it's not really practical if you're away for a long time. But when we do like travel by car, for example, we do ensure that we pack some finger food that we can eat, like nuts, grapes, you know, those cherry tomatoes, if you're not allergic to those. Cucumber, you can actually buy the small ones or even the large ones as well. So you can actually have those foods with you, and even like a drink, water, some juice, so that you're not so tempted when you stop at those service stations to buy all the other junk food or all the sweets and crisps. So these are things like that as well. So when we travel, even if it's just like for the day, half a day, even on the tube, sometimes you know you feel peckish. So I always have something on me, be it a drink or some snacks, so that it saves you from, first of all, spending more money, because when you go, especially to the cities, you know, the cost of food is a bit more. So that saves you money as well. And obviously it saves you from the temptation of buying that chocolate or, you know, the things that aren't so healthy for you, that's full of sugar and chemicals.
Yeah, and also getting too hungry. That's the other thing I've noticed.
Exactly.
If I, and that's, you know, like with work or something, if you're busy working, that's what I find I'm terrible about that. And I will sometimes just keep powering through meal times if I'm busy doing something. So then I'm really hungry. So then, you know, if I'm if I'm the one who's cooking, then I don't always, I'm going to just like eat things that are going to immediately fill me, that are not the right foods.
Yeah. And also, for example,
sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Could you please?
That's Alexa.
Oh, okay. So another tip would be, like, if you're eating out in a restaurant, sometimes you may be offered, say, like chips. You can maybe ask them to swap it for a salad, for example. Yeah.
Right.
Or maybe like instead of having the white potato chips, most restaurants now they do sweet potatoes. So swap it for something healthier. We are not saying totally, you know, if you like chips, totally, you know, abstain from it. If you do, then just go for the healthy option. Maybe the grilled potatoes or the sweet potato chips, which is slightly healthier than the normal chips itself.
Right. Okay. I've got another question here as well. I'll just read it to you, Petrina. Alkaline water. I don't buy bottles of water because I read that there are far too many nanny chemicals in them. My children buy bottles and bottles of alkali water. I drink boiled cooled tap water. Who is right? Perhaps you could say something about water.
So this is where I remember I mentioned before, if you buy bottled water, this is actually a free bottle which we got from a hotel we're attending. So I just took it. This bottle, like the viewer actually kindly mentioned, it's got nanoparticles because it's made of this plastic. It's very cheap plastic. You know, if this bottle unfortunately doesn't make any noise, but if you buy, like there are other brands, if you just press the empty bottle, you can hear the plastic, so it goes crack crack crack. Yeah, so that's cheap, and that's why we actually recommend you get a bottle like this. It's Nalgene, but it's actually a bottle like this which has a measurement. And as I said, when you're having this chance, inspect the bottle. At the bottom of each bottle I have a triangle. You may not be able to see it here, but the triangle on this bottle, you can see it's really hard. it's number 7, which is the highest form of the plastic cell. Whereas with the one which I've just showed you, which you get from most shops, it probably costs like even 10 pence. You know, they may sell it for 56 pence, but the cost is probably less than 5-10 pence for the shop. And this one, when you look at the bottom, it'll actually have number 1 on it. And the lower the number, it's actually 1 till 7. So 7 is the highest and 1 is the lowest. The lowest one, you'll actually be able to crush the bottle. It's basically, you can just bend it, basically. So that will have nanoparticles. So with regards to the alkaline water as well, your children are right, because we have invested in a machine, which is called, it's called Energy Kangen water. It's a filter, like filter, but it's got like 7 to 8 platinum plates, and it actually filters the tap water. Unfortunately, tap water, I was also brought up in a country where they said drink boiled tap water, which I was doing for the last 20 years. Then when I got more educated, they've done studies that in the tap water, there will be residues of condoms. They've added, you know, yes, unfortunately. So it's not pleasant. And I still remember a few weeks ago, a lady whom I shared this with, she didn't quite believe me, but then she went to her friend's home, her daughter's home, and they had a device actually tested the water. So the daughter actually showed her, this is tap water, mom. And I still have the photo. The device showed up the tap water, the machine actually turned a bit yellow, really like dark yellow, like urine color. Whereas the water that she had from the filter, that was fine. So that was the proof that there's a lot of things that you see in tap water. It appears clean and white, but it's actually not when you really test it properly with the proper devices. So that's why we recommend, if you can't get the machine, because it's a bit pricey, you're talking about a few £1,000, but it does, you know, you have it for life, basically. All you have to do is just maintain it in terms of service it at least once a year. And they've actually done a study that the amount that you will spend on these bottled waters in a year, you would literally pay for the machine anyway, if you're already drinking all the bottled water throughout your life in a year, right? So yeah, we recommend alkaline water, or if you can't get it for now, either buy the alkaline bottled water in a glass bottle, or, you know, go for the mineral water, which is in a glass bottle. That's a lot healthier.
What about the spring water that you can get in these big plastic bottles? Is that okay, do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, as a last resort, yes, but like we explained, unfortunately, because it's the plastic bottle, what happens is, if you know the manufacturers, they would have produced it in large quantities. It comes into a lorry, brings it to the shops, and some shops you'll observe, especially during summertime, the bottles actually out in the sun. So the sun is exposed to the sun as well. The heat, you know, it will actually melt the plastic slightly, and you'll actually be drinking nanoparticles of plastic as well. Now, when it comes to nanoparticles, a lot of people say, oh, nano is really small, right? But the logic is, imagine I gave you a bottle of water, and I said, this is water. If I just drop a nanoparticle of poison in, which you know is going to hurt you, would you drink it because it's a nanoparticle? You won't, right?
Wow, that's amazing. Of course.
Yeah. So this is where you need to change your thinking, because a lot of things have nanoparticles, and we say, oh, it's not going to harm us, but in the long run, it will. Yeah.
No. I'm right with you. Gosh, this has really been very informative and really, really helpful. And let's have some sharing in the chat, ladies, if you wouldn't mind, just some thumbs up and some thank yous to Petrina. People are clapping and saying thank you. Really fantastic share, Petrina. Thank you. So helpful. So much information. And folks, I have put in the chat how you can reach out to Petrina, who will speak to you. You don't have to go to her live garden, though we would like to go to your garden with your wonderful husband. However, she does do online consultations as well, and I will be sending out all of her contact details. They're in the chat for now, and I will be sending them out at the end of the session today. So yeah, I just want to thank you again, Petrina, for really a very enlightening and informative share. It's just fantastic amount of information you shared with us. And so, yes, thank you very much. A big virtual clap of applause.
You're very welcome. And you know, our YouTube channel is there. We have a lot of, I think about 400 videos so far, and there's a lot of
Amazing. Okay.
videos on health and wellness. So you can we're sharing tips on health benefits of almost everything that we could think of. And obviously, if you want us to do a video on something else as well, certain health benefit, do message me as well. We'll welcome ideas, because we're continuing to keep our YouTube videos running every week. We publish like 3 videos on this main channel. We've got another other channel as well, which is Planet Wellness Iridology, where we actually concentrate more on iridology, and that's 2 videos going out every week as well.
Okay.
So we've got lots to pick from the videos and learn from.
Fantastic. Again, thank you so much, Petrina, for your share, and thank you also for bringing in the theme of Valentine's Day today too, because this is, of course, what prompted us to put this event up, the fact that it's a coming up to Valentine's Day, and so it's a good time to recognize our health and our femininity, our womanhood, our, you know, all of the beautiful things that we are as women, and without our health, we are nothing. So bless you, Petrina. I know that we'll be talking later, so I'll look forward to that. And thank you again. Thank you.
Welcome.